Here comes the night. Here comes the night.
Welcome back to More Than Saints Memories. I'm William Taylor. Thanks for stopping by as we continue our look back at the New Orleans night of arena football, which played in New Orleans from 91 to 92. So let's begin where we left off in our last episode. We're going to mention June 15 of 91. The New Orleans Knight would lose their first regular season home opener to the Tampa Bay Storm. Let's take a look at the action.
Starting out as a spectacular as the Grand Prix before fading. Tampa Bay stormed to an early lead with a record-setting 43-yard touchdown run before most of the 8,800 fans could settle down into their seats. The Knight tied the score, but then fell behind in the second half, dropping their home opener, the final 27-17.
Well, yeah, you know, it's always disappointing when you lose the first game at home, but I just want the crowd to know that we're going to continue to improve, and we're going to be better.
Oh, the crowd was beautiful. All during the course of the week, we had a feel that we're going to have a pretty nice crowd for our opener. I'm just sorry that we let them down for this first ball game, but I'm just hoping that next week they come back and give us that same support.
Storm was in town. Nearly 9,000 fans out to greet the Knight. The Storm scored first, though. An arena football record 43-yard run by big Lynn Bradford. Here he comes, and Tampa Bay was up 7-0. And tonight at 10 o'clock, Robin will tell you a whole much more about the Knight and hear from quarterback Willie Totten. He says next week.
The arena game definitely outdistances the NFL in special effects. And it has a decidedly more upbeat rock score. Costume design, though, definitely goes to the older league. Yikes. And while the NFL is anything but non-violent, the arena game is more
like wrestling.
The arena field does somewhat resemble wrestling steel cage matches.
You get guys getting smashed into the wall.
With walls surrounding the field, there often seems to be no way to get out. Although you get a feeling some patrons should get out just a little more often.
All the way, my man, all the way.
So if you accept the game for what it is,
I liked it.
And not try to compare it to the NFL,
It's not the same thing, but I like it.
You'll find most fans giving the game a thumbs-up review. And even some who find it compares with the NFL games they've seen in the past.
It's a good ball game, but they play like the Saints. They fumble on the 1-yard line. They got to do better than that.
The game, which was won by Tampa Bay. But most of the fans said they had a good time. The action was fast and hard-hitting. NFL, it's not, but it is entertaining. Most said they'd be back next week when the Knight takes on Denver. Quarterback Willie Totten says he thinks the team will make a better showing then.
We're going to put it together, and I think we got a good ball club. I think I'm just hoping that the guys just keep their head up after this loss, and we got our home opener next week, so I just hope that we can pull it together.
For the second time in those 3 weeks, a New Orleans Knight player has been named the Player of the Week in the league, and it's the same guy. The league announced #1 Milton Barney won his second Iron Man award. Barney scored 2 touchdowns Saturday in the Knights' loss to Tampa Bay. He caught 9 passes, returned 3 kickoffs, and had 5 tackles on defense.
Wide receiver Milton Barney continued his outstanding run on the season. He had 9 catches for 83 yards, 164 all-purpose yards on the game, assuming I can say that, a touchdown catch and a touchdown run, and was once again, for the second time in 3 weeks, named the All-League Iron Man Player of the Week. Good for him. Now, 2 days later, on June the 17th, the New Orleans Knights signed wide receiver / defensive back Jack Phillips Jr. Some of you might remember his father, Jack Sr., was a longtime head coach in high school football in the New Orleans area. Jack Jr. would later go on to be a head coach in indoor football for several teams across the country, including the Houma Bayou Bucks of the National Indoor Football League from 2002 to 2004. And with that, we have some more player interviews for you right now.
Former LSU quarterback Mickey Guidry has written a book about playing number 2. He did that at LSU behind Tommy Hudson. Now at age 24, Mickey is again a backup quarterback, this time for the New Orleans Knight. desperately holding on to a football career? Mickey says no.
I don't think that I'm the greatest quarterback ever sent down on earth, and I don't think I'm the worst. I think that I'm somewhere in the middle. There's a place for me to play this game. I've worked too hard. I know the game well. I study really hard at this game, and there's a place for me to play somewhere. I just need to find it.
Mickey tried to find it last season in the World League. He played for 3 different teams. And this spring, he hopes to return to the WLAF while continuing work on his MBA degree. Making just $400 a week, Mickey Guidry hopes arena football is just a summer part-time job.
If I wasn't playing arena football, I'd have a coat and tie on for 8 hours a day working somewhere, and then in the afternoon try to find some receivers to throw to. And I'm working in the summer, and I'm doing what I'd be doing anyway. And I get a little time to play golf in the afternoon, so it's working out fine.
A shoulder injury after leaving LSU in 1989 was the first of many football setbacks. But Mickey won't take no for an answer.
I think that my chance to play will come if I stick with it. One guy can't have that much bad luck is what I always tell myself. You can't always go to the wrong places. But I think it will come, and hopefully it'll come here in arena football. If it doesn't, I'm sure it'll come soon. I'll stick with it as long as I can, as long as it's still fun to me.
Mike Haas, Channel 4 Eyewitness Sports.
It's the moves at wall. That's be the main thing. It's good to knock somebody else into the wall, but when you're the one getting knocked into the wall, it's a different story. That wall don't move either.
In the home opener, it seemed there was a wall at the goal line. Several times, the Knight moved inside the 5, but couldn't score. It was a team.
Number 73, Don Tank Thompson, able to scuffle with the best of them. Able to lift hellacious weights in a single bound. Able to consume 4, count them, 4 slices of pizza in a single bite.
Now this is the winning stack. When we lose, I only get to eat 2. But when we win, I get to double my pleasure.
Could it be? You guys have Superman playing for your team?
Yes, that's Tank, the big Tank. Yes, he's a tough guy, and we always look at him like that because he got a big Superman tattoo on his leg.
Despite the tattoo, though, this 6-foot, 285-pound, mild-mannered center and defensive lineman insists he's not Superman.
So wait a minute, you're not Superman?
No, I'm not Superman. The S right here on my leg stands for stupid for getting a tattoo in the first place, because I can't ever remove it at the time I got it in college.
So then, why the tattoo?
I've always liked Superman when I was little. I have all the comic books, saw the movie 800 times. Tried to fly twice, broke my nose at both attempts. So when I finally realized I couldn't be Superman, I got a tattoo on my leg. I figured my mom would like that better than a skull and crossbones.
Thompson's the strongest guy on the team. Are you sure he's not Superman?
In the weight room, he is Superman because he is strong as an ox.
You know, he says he's not Superman, but I don't know. I'm going to hang out in the phone booth just for a couple of minutes, just to double check.
Excuse me, are you using his phone?
I can let you have it. Go ahead, sure.
Walter Hausman. Hausman played for Denver for 2 years before being released. The 6'5", 300-pounder hopes to leave a lasting impression on the folks back in the Mile High City.
Like I said, this one just has a little added incentive for me, being how the fact that I played with those guys. You know, there might be a little something under there that, you know, a little vendetta, I guess, against these, not against the players. It was none of their fault, but, you know, maybe just I want to show that coach when he watches film on the next day that, you know, hey, maybe we did make a mistake.
Well, the New Orleans Knight will have 2 more upcoming games, one on June 22nd against the Denver Dynamite at home, 5 days later at the Detroit Drive. Here are some of those highlights.
Another inauspicious start, Willie Totten, the quarterback, but it is picked off on the first series by Alvin Williams, and Denver led it 7-0. Totten right back, though, go deep to Willie Culpepper, who takes it inside the 5-yard line. Later, the Knight would score to tie this one up at 7-7. Then, number 44, Troy Fields, bulldozing over for the Knight as they led it 14-7. They would trail into the second half, but they would come back. Willie Totten again going deep, this time to former Tulane standout Jerome McIntosh for the touchdown. They led briefly, but Denver was too much. The Knight falls to 1-3. The aerial attack by Denver was pretty awesome. They scored 44 points, but it was not enough as Denver wins it tonight, 54-44.
In this league, you can't give up. You got to always continue to, try to score, because in this league you can score at any time. And it was proven tonight that Denver played a heck of a game. They didn't give up. They tried to, like they always say, if you get a team down, always try to put the nail in them. So they did an excellent job.
Points with ex-Green Wave Jerome McIntosh proving to be an important two-way performer. The Knight may have been inconsistent, but as a whole appear to be headed in the right direction.
I think for sure that from the Tampa Bay game to this game, I think everybody saw a lot of improvement, and we go up to Detroit Thursday and play the best team possible in the league, so we got to be prepared.
We'll pick it up from Joe Louis Arena. Art Schleister, the former Ohio State star, to George LaFrance, 13-3. Schleister has a gun. Here, a TD run. Gutty player. He was wounded most of the night, but stayed in there, and that made it 20-3. Willie Totten to Milton Barney, the star for New Orleans. Close through 3 quarters, but in the 4th, Detroit exploded. Schleister to the big guy, Flint Fleming. He barrels in, and Detroit takes it 45-22. New Orleans now 1-4.
Looking like contenders, Mark Mason with the huge hole up for the touchdown. The Knight was hanging close, but coming back would be the drive. Former Ohio State quarterback Art Schleister keeping it in for the touchdown, and they had a lead of 6 points, but the Knight comes right back. Willie Totten to Milton Barney, the long touchdown pass. After stopping Detroit on a big 4th down play, New Orleans fumbled it away, and with that, their chance to win and pull off the upset as Detroit stays perfect this year, winning at 45-22.
Briefly reviewing that contest against the Detroit Drive, quarterback Willie Totten is 7 of 18 passing, 84 yards plus a touchdown pass. James Harvey leads with 4 catches for 38 yards. Then a few days later, on July 1st, Mickey Guidry from LSU is named the starting quarterback for the Knight. The club also waives wide receiver/defensive back Marvin Cephas and signs wide receiver/defensive back Anthony Anderson. Here's some more footage.
They did record their only victory of the year against the Texans, though, so it's a revenge game for Dallas. Should be a rough run Friday night in the Dome.
It's going to be a big rivalry playing against them. I'm really looking forward to it, though. I really want to go out and have a great game.
We have a tough opponent coming in here. The team that we did beat earlier in the year, they have improved. We have improved. But we're looking forward to the opportunity.
Since Guidry got the starting nod, and it's his first as a professional.
First time I've started a football game since 1987 against Alabama at LSU, and before that it was high school. It kind of seems like I'm getting a start maybe once every 4 years or something like that, but I'm excited about it. I'm looking forward to playing Friday night.
Since Mickey's taken over, he's kind of brought an extra charge to the offense, and he's kind of brought us a little closer together, meeting together, doing sorts of things like that to go over the plays and everything. And this last stretch is very important. If we win these last 5 games, we can make the playoffs.
His last preps in for his first start in a while. Like, how about 4 years? Last time he started was 1987 for LSU against Alabama. Now, before that, he last started in 1983, his senior year in high school. So Guidry is hoping he's going to get more than 1 chance every 4 years. The first step, though, is tomorrow night against the Dallas Texans.
I have a lot to prove to a lot of football coaches, to a lot of fans, to myself. You know, whether I can really play the game on a consistent basis. I think I'm a good football player, but I've never played it on a consistent basis since high school. So I'm looking forward to playing this whole game this Friday and seeing what I can do.
Then a very interesting contest would develop on July 5th in the Louisiana Superdome against the Dallas Texans, which by chance happened to be the first New Orleans night game I went to in person. Well, we don't want to give it all away right now, so first what we're going to do is show you the highlights of the contest and then come back with a very interesting story.
Absolutely flawlessly as former Saints coach Dick Nolan, now a Texan assistant, looked on. Guidry completed his first 7 passes. This was his first pass of the night, complete to Willie Culpepper, setting up the opening score of the game. Later in the first, Guidry to Milton Barney. The Knight was out in front, 13-7 in the first. Now a wild play here. The Texans with the snap that, well, was not even close. Alfred Jenkins, though, almost completing the pass and making the most out of it. Late in the game, Jenkins to Atron Kenny, the touchdown with 7 seconds left in the game, put the Texans up 37-36. Coach Drew Pearson went crazy, and how about a little kiss? Marco Morales with one last try for the night from 52 yards out on the final play of the game, off the crossbar, and good. How about that? The Knight beats Dallas 39-37 to improve their record to 2-4. There were literally fireworks going off in the dome.
All players together. First is the need for a second job to supplement the league's meager pay. And second is the dream of making the big payday in the NFL. Doug Greengard profiles a guy who juggles both a solid career and a dream.
Good morning, class. Today's extra credit problem will be factoring completely the following.
Could you repeat that question, please?
Marco Morales can amaze his teammates with his knowledge of math. Teaching high school algebra in San Diego is his full-time job. Booting field goals is his version of summer school. And when his students found out,
It was interesting trying to teach a class there for a little while because everybody was worrying about getting my autograph.
last Friday, Morales sent local fans in search of his autograph. On the final play of the game, the 29-year-old San Diego State graduate connected on the longest field goal of his career, a 52-yarder that squirted off the upright and beat Dallas. Do any mathematical equations help him with his kicking?
I don't know. I was doing math all my educational life, and I don't know if there's a analogy there, but I'm sure it hasn't hurt. I'm aware of the angles and so forth, which you got to be aware of.
Morales has been in the Arena League since its inception back in '87. He's had opportunities to make NFL teams, but on 3 separate occasions, he was released.
The desire is always there. I think the fact that this kick helped our team was basically what I'm concerned about. I'm not worrying about the NFL 3 months down the road. I'm worrying about New Orleans night, today and tomorrow.
Just as long as his teammates don't want to be tutored today or tomorrow. Doug Greengard, Eyewitness Sports.
That's part of growing up and maturing, and when that sort of thing happens to a team, the next time they get in that situation, they truly believe we can do it because we've done it before. They have documented evidence, to that effect.
Well, He was sparkling, hitting on his first 8 passing attempts. For quarterback Mickey Guidry, it must have felt like his high school days at Archbishop Shaw. He was a starter. He went all the way, getting the job done.
I think I really wanted to prove to myself and to a lot of people that I can play this game consistently. I've shown flashes of good things, at times in my career, but I've never really played consistently, not in a game, like over a season or over a complete game. I've never had the opportunity to show that I could play consistently.
Saturday's game against Columbus could be explosive. The other quarterback is former West Virginia star Major Harris. In this pass-happy league, Harris went to the air a mere 14 times in one game. At times, Friday morning's practice session seemed like preparation for the Oklahoma wishbone offense.
He will run at any time from anywhere, and they have many designed runs for him. But defensing him is like defensing a great running back.
Despite a 2-4 record, the Knight continues to reach for a playoff spot.
We just have to win each one as they come to us.
Bo Brown, 6 Sports.
And now it's time for the interesting story about how the Knight won that game. With a few seconds remaining, following the Texans' score to take the lead, which was a 17-yard touchdown catch, the Texans were called for a delay of game before kickoff because what had happened was the kicker was ready to kick the ball off from his own goal line, but he brought out the wrong tee. He brought out the field goal tee, which doesn't have little uprights on the back. Of course, you need those uprights for the kickoff tee so the ball can stand on its own. Now, in arena football, you can't penalize a team for delay of game actually on the specific kickoff. You have to wait and do it after the return because they're already kicking off from the goal line. You can't back them up anymore. So here's what happened. The New Orleans Knight would take the return, and I've got my notes right here on it. And this allowed the Knight, after the 3-yard penalty at the end of the return, to make that 50 or get enough yardage rather to get in range for Marco Morales to make the 52-yard field goal on the game's final play. So as Paul Harvey used to say, there's the rest of the story as to how the Knight wound up squeaking out that win. Mickey Guidry, their quarterback, 204 passing yards, 14 of 22. Milton Barney, 7 catches for 96 yards. And Willie Culpepper was 5 catches for 89 on the night. 4 days later, on July 9th, the Knight places Jackie Cooper, wide receiver / defensive back, and lineman Fred Davis on injured reserve. They in turn signed wide receiver / defensive back Robert Allen. And then 4 days after that, the Knight would play the Columbus Thunderbolts in the Louisiana Superdome. Here's some of that action.
It would be Guidry who would steal the show here, hooking up with Milton Barney. A great pass and catch, and the Knight led quickly 7-0. Guidry again hooking up with Willie Culpepper for the 11-yard touchdown, and it was 14-0. Guidry 201 yards in the first half. Major Harris was struggling here on the 1-yard line. Harris gets hit, the ball comes loose, the Knight recovers, and the lead was intact. As I said, over 200 yards for Guidry. Again, it is Willie Culpepper. You'll see this catch twice. Nicely done by Culpepper in the corner of the end zone as the Knight led 28-3 at half, and they roll. They're now 3-4 on the year, winning it big, 47-15.
Mickey Guidry took over as quarterback of the New Orleans Knight. They've been scoring lots of points and winning games. Last night, Guidry threw 5 touchdown passes as the Knight took care of the 0-7 Columbus Thunderbolts. First quarter, Guidry goes deep for Milton Barney. He'll take it in. It was a touchdown. The Knight led 7-0. Thunderbolts quarterback Major Harris couldn't get anything going thanks to a tough Knight defense. Harris is slammed into the wall here by Troy Fields. Guidry, on the other hand, could do no wrong. He goes to former USL star Willie Culpepper. Touchdown, it was 14-0. Even when the Bolts got close, they couldn't get in. Harris fumbles on the Knight 1-yard line. New Orleans had it back, and Guidry iced the game early. In the second quarter, back to Willie Culpepper, another touchdown. It was 21-0. The Knight went on to the win, 47-15. They're now 3-4 on the year and still alive for the Arena League playoffs.
I'm William Taylor. Thanks for stopping by, and as always, we'll get with you down the road.
Here comes the